Coffee Club, Coffee Club. Grind your beans and grab your favorite mug. It's Ollie, Morgan, George, and Gus. It's them boys from Coffee Club. Boys from Coffee Club.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Club podcast for episode 185. Today, we are very excited to be back in the studio to talk all things running, non-running, Grand Slam, Miami, a couple of other big meets. But yeah, boys, how we feeling?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, no, happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
I'd love to start off the podcast, Morgan, by talking about the journey that we experienced Thursday.
This past week.
So, and obviously this was your first time. We popped your cherry for
It's
it.
journey? Oh, that kind of journey.
That kind of journey, George.
The most dramatic type of journey you can take with your buddies. The double threshold journey, guys, it finally happened. Have a big announcement. You're following along on Instagram. You may have already seen this, but finally, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, I'm free from my injury, and I got the green light to embark on my first journey of a double threshold day. And boy, was it magical. It was an absolute fantasy, a dream come true. Us boys, we did some 2K reps in the morning out in the dirt. These guys did 6, I did 5. And then just a few wee hours later, we were back at the track running some 400 reps, just like, what's his name, Marius Bakken. Is that what's his name, George?
I think that's right,
Marius?
actually.
Was doing back in 2003.
Yeah.
Or just like Arthur Lydiard in 1970 or something.
Yep. So,
We chose quite a day for it, though.
yeah, morning, good conditions, pretty chill, kept it under control. Evening, not so much. The weather really put one on for us, and the storms came out. But it was all part of the experience, I think. To be honest, I haven't done 400 reps in a very long time. I mean, you guys do a lot more of that type of work, but it's probably really different doing 1,500 meter type work at like 400 meter rep. A threshold rep of 400 meters, that's fucking nice. So
Yeah.
if you're going to do anything in that type of weather, in those conditions, doing 400s made it pretty chill. We're doing the classic 400s off 30-second recovery. We were taking longer recovery every 4, so it was like split into sets, which I would say we're transitioning into not doing that, just doing them all the way straight through. But honestly, I was because these boys, as we talked about previously, they did it for the first time in Phoenix. So that's 2 months ago now, at least. And you guys have done it a few times since. No, it's not an every week thing.
No,
Us.
sometimes it's like a minute hills. We did that one time when I was back, and then other times I did like 800s or something like that when I was in Australia.
Not super regular, but
Yeah, not an every week thing. But these guys are a bit more well versed in it than I was. I was expecting the worst. I was expecting some pain, but honestly, it was just pretty chill.
I mean, once you
It was
get through the
good.
first couple of reps, I
It
feel
was-
like you just kind of, lock into gear.
you can do a lot of them pretty easily.
You can do a lot. And also, I feel like it was pretty cool. It was just the 3 of us in the afternoon. Coffee
Yeah.
Club boys. As Carl Merber would say, that was a Coffee Club first. What do you Coffee Club history? First time in Coffee Club history that double threshold has taken place.
Good Carl Merber Grand Slam
Yeah,
reference.
so first Coffee Club.
Yeah, it was
Double
a special
threshold.
moment for the 3 of us to be out there on the track together. And
Dathan said it was his worst nightmare.
yeah, he was not happy seeing us having so much fun out there. The thing is, like, we've been doing these double workouts, and Dathan didn't do double threshold in his past, but he actually used to do like 2-a-day workouts, double workouts, where he would do more strength stuff in the morning and then hills/speed stuff in the evening. So he just keeps being like, oh yeah, I used to do this all the time. And it's like, bro, like, stop flexing on us, like acting as if like this isn't a big deal. This is a big deal for us. It's double
Exactly.
threshold. Like it's Jakob's training.
He was
Like,
in
come
the
on.
morning because I asked him, who's doing the double T in the afternoon? Because we all, our whole men's team did the threshold in the morning. And he said, it's just the Coffee Club boys. God, I didn't want to admit this, but it's gonna be pretty bad for me. I don't want to deal with you guys being happy down there. And he had to deal with us enjoying a second workout. So
I think we were enjoying it more just because, well, it was fucking pouring with rain.
it was terrible weather.
Well, at least we were moving. Rich just had to stand out there in the rain, which kudos for him for coming out.
Yeah. So honestly, double threshold, you guys probably know that I was already solid before I even tried it. Now I'm super solid. I think it's pretty cool. I think
How fit do you think you got from one session?
ultra.
I mean, after seeing you on Sunday, I
Ultra
feel
fit.
like you got pretty
Ultra
ultra fit on Sunday.
No, I think it's just like this is like for the real take on it is like I believe that like one of the best things that you can do is just obviously a lot of strength work, particularly if you're like a 5K aspiring 10K guy like myself, maybe eventually moving up. I think you want to get these big strength days in, and I think during my build up to the half marathon, I did some really solid strength days, which got up to even 12 miles, like in a single workout. But I think once you start hitting 12 in a single workout, it gets a little bit like you can do it, but it gets, I guess, slightly unproductive at a certain point because you can't, it's hard to do that much work in a single workout. Whereas if you do split it up across two, like people do a double threshold, and let's say, for example, you do what we did, which is, this is probably one of the most standard double threshold days you'll see, which is 2K reps or 7-minute reps in the morning, and then coming back and doing 400s later in the day. Like that's probably the most standard you can do. By doing that, you can just get a really good amount of high quality volume in, which is what I think you want on a day when you're doing threshold work. Like that's just what I think makes you the best, is being able to do as much. So I think it's just
you end up at about 12 miles.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I think you could push it to 14 probably.
Yeah.
And the big difference is, which I really liked with the 400s, is that so if you were doing 12 miles of threshold work in one session, like when I did that, I was doing 3-mile reps and 2-mile reps, and I was running pretty close to 5-minute pace for those. Whereas the way that we did it, you're doing 400s, and we probably ended up averaging 66s, which is just so much faster. So I think when you can expose your body to like those quicker paces without having, maybe the same like intensity that you would have normally doing like hard 400s or whatever, I think it's just so good. So I think it just really covers a lot of ground in a very like effective and efficient way. So that's why I thought it was good for us. I'm not saying I think it's good for everyone, and I'm not saying you need to do it, but I think for where we're at in our running careers, it's like something that makes sense to do right now. Like I guess that's why we're doing it, because it makes sense. So I like it as an avenue forwards.
I think, getting 4 or 5 miles of work it's almost essentially like 10K pace.
Yeah, that's what it becomes. I mean, that's what you see with the best people in the world that do it. It becomes essentially their 10K pace, which is fast for, like we saw Andreas Almgren do 25 off 30 seconds at, I think he was probably at 7,000 feet, and he averaged under 64. So he's running 26:40 10K. Like it's threshold, but it's such high quality at the same time, which is pretty cool, I think.
And 10K pace and steeple pace are about the same. So it works out really well for me as well.
That's all you should be doing, essentially. So
just throw a barrier in there.
Yeah.
No. Our next step, I think, is what I was trying to convince Ritz, is when you start taking each other's lactate to save
efficiency,
to improve efficiency.
Is that because certain people take your lactate and you don't like how they take it?
No.
Okay.
Purely efficiency. There's too many of us, and there's not enough people taking lactate.
Fair enough.
That's that simple.
Well, Robert just takes it on his finger, but apparently the finger to ear the accuracy is a bit.
We talked about. I think we were gonna test that theory
because I did
but
test
then there
it.
wasn't any time.
And then started fucking pouring with rain.
Ollie tested it.
I tested it because I had my own lactate meter when I went to Australia.
Oh, no, you did.
And Dayton said, "Oh, I just want to test the finger to the ear and see the difference." So I did whatever I did, and then he pricked my finger, and it was 9.6. He pricked my ear, it was 5.3.
When? Who's this? Who's he?
Dayton.
I thought you said in Australia.
No. Dayton told me. He said, "Oh, I'll see what it's like from ear to finger," because he reckons it's different.
Oh, when
just
was
yesterday.
This was before I went to Australia, so that's why I got Meg
ages ago.
Yeah, so I got Meg to do my ear, or my dad to do my ear, because the inaccuracy with the finger to, well, we believe from what we saw with me, but it could just be like the way I did it. It could have been incorrect, but when I pricked my finger for that particular time, it was 9.6, and then I pricked my ear, and it was 5.3.
Yeah, but see, my main thing, my main issue with that is like we see so many really good athletes use their finger. Still. And it's like, they wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm pretty sure Ritz, right before we started, he took Koki's.
Yeah.
Because Koki worked out right for us. He did a finger and an ear, and they were the same.
Yeah. It's tough. The thing is, I've actually become less, what's the word? Like, I think I've become less reliant on like lactate. Like I think like the readings. I think it's more like I don't know, like
A vibe.
more vibe thing. Like that's what the Roaches would say. I think it's more like
I feel like you've been wearing your heart rate monitor more though.
I always wear my heart rate monitor for workouts, and I think heart rate is a really good thing for me to like kind of check my vibe. You know, if I feel something,
Check my vibe.
yeah. But like if I feel something, let's say I'm doing a rep, it's like I don't like to focus on like splits or time that much. But sometimes like I'll start a rep and I'll be like, oh, this feels harder, and then I'll check my heart rate and I'll be like, oh, it's 4 beats higher, so it must be running faster. So like it's okay to like maintain this or even slow down a little. Like that's how I would use heart rate if I was trying to like keep it lower, for example, in that workout. But with the thing with lactate is like I just think I don't know, I just imagine there's still so much room for inaccuracy. So I don't think it's like you can treat it like the Bible where, you know, you take a reading and you make a big judgment or change based off that. I think it's maybe more similar to like the heart rate where it can like confirm something. Like it can be like, oh yeah, this feels right, and then the number looks right, so let's keep doing this, you know? Or maybe like you were wondering like this feels a little bit hard, and then your number was high. Oh, let's slow down a little bit. I think that's probably like the thing to do it. And it's interesting because like we joke about Mike Smith and any of you guys all the time, and they've done double threshold for 4 or 5 years now, maybe even slightly longer, and they never do lactate, right?
Sounds like Bosley now keeps posting on his Strava.
Oh, so they do it now.
Seems like they've started doing it.
Well,
I don't know if they're just doing it,
just
like
them.
just like they're showing up with it.
Yeah.
Maybe like Woody's brought his own one or something.
Yeah. Woody definitely had one.
And then I don't know if that's just like now they're just using Woody's. I don't know if Smith's leading the charge on that.
Okay, interesting.
But there's some numbers out there.
Yeah.
But I do think they would not pay much attention to it. I don't think they would make big decisions based on it.
I just think it's one of those things that's like, if you wanted to use it more, like big decisions more, you have to, it goes really deep. Like you have to go really deep, and you have to go to the lab and do the testing, or you have to really be paying a lot of attention. Like I just think like in our situation, it's like, I don't think the coaches would be able to effectively like go that deep with every athlete in every workout. If you know what I mean, I think it just takes too much like effort to do that well with everyone at the same time. Like when we're all working out together,
We have too many people, for sure.
True. What I've found that I liked it, especially for like sessions on Thursday, is that now we've done so many of them that my lactate is so consistent on like the morning sessions that as long as it's within like 0.5 of what it normally is, then I'm like pretty happy.
that like ticks the box.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
opposed to like changing something. Well,
Mm-hmm.
normally I just don't have to. It's like, all right, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
This is about where it normally is. And if it's not,
good.
yeah, kind of just confirming. All right, this is where it normally is. This is where it is today. Probably all good.
I've just willed mine into existence,
Yeah.
like lowering it. I've like when I get my lactate, I just like close
Just
my
hold it.
eyes and tell
Just
my
dream.
body, you
Isn't that what-
produce a 2.7 or 3.0 or 1 point whatever. You produce that. I've told my body and I've willed it into existence, and it works every time.
No, that was Dylan the last.
It doesn't matter how hard you run. It doesn't matter. You could just sprint and then just say like, I want my light to be super low, and then you just like will into existence.
No, the last rep, like the 6th rep that you didn't do.
Mhm.
Dylan didn't want to slow down. He just wanted to run with us.
Yeah.
The last 200 meters, he's like, he was like trying to shake it out. I was like, all right, I gotta relax. I gotta get this number down before I get there.
I
Yeah.
think that actually works.
He
you know?
slowed down the last
like last
I think
200
that
meters.
actually
200 meters. He
works.
slowed
He's like,
down.
I'm just gonna relax, shake this out a little bit.
Yeah.
Try.
He slowed it down. I
Try
don't know.
and-
I think his lactate was low as well.
I
think
can't
it
remember,
was.
but it was
I
pretty
remember
funny.
Yeah.
I think
It's
those two cases that you guys mentioned are kind of like the things, because it's like, yeah, George, because you can do that because you've done it over a long enough period of time now where you have a good feeling with it. And I think like kind of what you mentioned, I think actually if you see it go down over time, like it's the same thing where it's like, yeah, that's obviously a good sign, and that makes you
Yeah.
feel good about yourself. But
It does make you feel good
It's
when
like-
you've like, I think when we were first doing threshold stuff, mine was like 5, 6, and then now mine's like 2, 3. So
yeah, but then it's just like there's so much. Everyone still has their own probably individual lactate
Yeah.
curve.
I mean,
and
I
it's
want my
just-
lactate to spike because I'm a mid D
Mhm.
guy. If my lactate's not spiking, then we've got an issue
Yeah,
because I want to be able to produce lactate when I fucking run quick. So
it's true. So yeah, that's how double threshold adventures. There'll probably be
That's the
some more
journey.
of them in the future, but yeah, it feels good to be on the Norwegian method. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
I think they do call it that.
So it was a good time. But yeah, it's nothing revolutionary. I think it's just like a smart.
Yeah.
But I would like asterisk. I said this to the guys on the day. If I did have a kid who was 12 or 13 years old and they told me, Dad, I want to be the best runner in the world, I'd say go do double threshold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's start taking.
I mean, it is.
I would do that with them. I would,
Yeah.
Until I find something that seems better that you can do like consistently across your whole life. I would.
It's pretty revolutionary.
It's one of the things I would do.
Pretty revolutionary. Speaking of revolutionary, Grand Slam track Miami.
Yeah, what do we think? What was the initial? So the trivialness of the first one happening, even though they kept making a big deal. This is the first Grand Slam on American soil. It's like no one cares.
Also, the commissioner was in town. Did you know the commissioner was there?
Commissioner was there. Big deal. But yeah, what do we think about this one? Just like kind of initial reactions compared to the first one.
I only watched Friday. So like for me,
so much better.
I saw Friday and I thought, shit, there's no one, not as many people in the stands as I thought there would be. But I heard that Saturday and Sunday was a lot better.
Yeah,
which makes sense because it's a weekend.
I also think it might have been like the back straight or something.
It could have been something. I was just watching. I was like, shit. I thought I'd just see people like lining around the track.
There was, yeah.
In the end, why do you think it was better? What are the kind of like initial?
I think they probably listened to the podcast last time.
What things did they put into action?
What were our problems with it?
I don't know. The camera shots were better.
Yeah, camera work was pretty good.
I think like
the product was
90% of it was holding it in a smaller stadium.
Yeah.
Also,
atmosphere wise,
did you guys?
I think something about like watching it last time was so uncomfortable, knowing that
the emptiness.
it was in a giant stadium that was empty,
Mm-hmm.
and I think just like everything looked like it was more. I mean, it was the second one. It was more polished. Like it looked like a nice venue for it.
A
nice size.
Fast.
A fucking borderline short.
I think it was short. But
that track is insane.
At least for the 100 and 110 hurdles.
Yeah, it looked very quick.
I don't know if they're using the right lines, but
it looks very quick.
Some storylines starting to emerge.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
example, one of the biggest ones that we can just get right into, I guess, is the 8:15 group. The group that we talk about the most probably was the hero of the day, the hero that we needed, Josh Kerr, the original male signee for the Grand Slam track, going from, I believe, 7th in the first one overall to first. Just like that in a matter of 4 weeks.
What do we think he did in the last 4 weeks?
As the commentator said, he's been through a lot the past 6 months. So he's definitely, I tell you what he has done. He's definitely improved his dance moves, because I think from one of the little viral clips of his little dance move, that little salsa he did, that definitely put him from 7th to 1st.
But that's the thing. I think that dance move was shot in about October.
But it was shown before Miami, so I think there must have been some sort of correlation.
I love that they're like, just
what do you think the prompt was?
Do something that's like, you're in Miami. Imagine you're in Miami, you're at the nightclub, but you're also about to go race a 1500. Go.
Yeah, just doing his little shimmy, and then he just turns around to the crowd and just G's him up. I mean, you know, what more can you ask for?
As he should.
What more can you ask for?
It worked, whatever it was. I think, well, in his interviews, he said, he did kind of mention tweaking stuff in training, but he also said, I think it wasn't as much of a fitness thing as more of a race preparedness thing.
Race fitness.
So
he said it was like a mental shift.
Yeah, that's what he was alluding to. Is just the first one was a rust buster, as some like to say, and the second one he was ready to go, which to me honestly can make sense, because one thing that I have like kind of observed watching these races is how high the level is, and I think it's really easy to forget how high the level is because we're used to watching all these races play out in a certain way, but now you watch. Like, there's these athletes who I know are amazing athletes and I know are in great form, and they're getting dusted by these other athletes who are just like a little bit more amazing and maybe in a little bit better form, you know what I mean? So the level is so high. So if you are just off a little bit, like Josh maybe was in the first one, you get exposed, which is essentially what they want, because they want the highest level of racing as much as possible. So it is.
I do love the storylines that is emerging, that we had like new challenges, but the same. I actually really like that. There were some like new people to watch versus the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously that's the whole point.
Yeah,
But
it just would have been fun to have Wanyoni still there, just because of the
Just 'cause
mark
of
that he
how
made on
good
the
he was
first
in
one.
The first one, yeah.
So you could really get that direct comparison.
maybe
But it's
they'll-
going to make it even more exciting when he does come back.
maybe they'll invite him back.
I mean,
Who did they pay off to get that bigger logo on? What strings is Josh pulling?
Yeah,
For
he
the
can do
Brooks
whatever
logo?
he want to get.
That's what it seems like. How many times have they showed us that tiny little box that the logo has to fit in
I don't know. I try and
for World
avoid
Athletics?
looking at that thing, but
Exactly. It's
I
special privileges.
I definitely
for the
agree with
old-
you with that statement, Morgs, about like being, if you're a little bit off at that level, you're gonna fucking fall behind. I mean, to be fair, like watching that race, particularly the 1500, it was very interesting because watching the past few races with Cole in them, he's always boxed in with 200 to go, and then he finds a way out. This time, he didn't find a way out, and he got stuck. I reckon if he got out, he could have been more vicious on that last 100, but he was stuck because like Yaro's not gonna let him out.
Well, his kick hasn't looked as good as it's looked in the last couple of years.
That's true.
because He's been consistently out kicking,
But he can't
some
get
of those
out.
people.
He was boxed in.
But it
and-
doesn't seem like he's got the capabilities either. Maybe he is just boxed in.
I mean, the race, I guess for me, when I watched it, I was like, he's boxing, he's not going to be able to get out because.
Definitely with 150 he was boxed, but even like his last 30 is sometimes unbelievable. But his last 30 was pretty normal.
Yeah, but he would run up the back of Yaro. He just couldn't move anywhere. They just kept him in there.
yeah.
I think they
He was
gapped
locked
him a
up.
little bit in the last 50.
Well, he was third, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I think Josh and Yard went away a little bit. Josh,
I'd have to
obviously.
rewatch it, but I do feel like he just didn't have the space to get out. Marco Arop, my favorite, I think maybe our favorite, of
love
next
him.
to obviously
BFG.
Yard. Yard is our number one. Marco Arop, number two. But watching him run the whole last 300 in lane 2 was horrible as a 1500-meter runner. If he was more close in, I reckon he could have just. He looked like he was jogging too. That dude's form is
But
insane.
he looks like he's jogging when he runs 143 sometimes as well. To be like when he goes through in 50, you're like, wow, he's chilling.
I love him, man.
I
He's
think he was
unreal.
feeling a little too good on that last lap.
He looked amazing. I thought he's going to win this. I was watching it and I was like, he's going to win this. But he looked so wide, and then Josh kind of came through between him and Yard. But he looked amazing. I mean, he's been so consistent at just making sure those boys know he's the 800 guy.
But it is super different if you think about it for him, because in an 800, even at the highest level, championship level, yeah, it's still a battle of like who dies the least essentially in that last 50. Like they almost never run their fastest 50 in the last 50, whereas the 1500, the last 50 is actually a kick.
Yeah.
So that is something that he does, I guess, have to learn how to do, because you can tell that he's feeling good, but I don't think he realizes that everyone else is kind of just like saving those few gears for that last 100, last 50, where so much can change in a 1500.
How do we feel about his 330 prediction still?
I
More realistic or less realistic?
I think realistic.
So he ran a 335 PB, I think, this
pretty damn
past
good.
weekend, which is good. 330 is, to me, like still a different universe. A 335, I think it'd be tough.
I think it's realistic.
I think it'd be really tough.
If he like
I think he can go
learns
faster
how to
for
run the
sure.
15,
I
I
think
think he doesn't know how to run the 1500.
I think he'd
yet.
need to stop doing workouts like he just did.
Well, the workout he did was a very
Was
800 workout.
Ridiculous.
But I think he's not running like a 1500 meter runner. He's running like an 800 meter runner in a 15. Like if
Exactly.
you watch him race it, he's not running like a 15 guy. If he had the tactics or like now the knowledge to say this is how I like the top guys run this 1500 meters, I reckon he can run 331, 330 in a fast race, relaxed. He's definitely capable enough, talented enough, fit enough. But
Yeah,
it's just he needs to learn the way to run it, because like the 800, like even Yara was talking about it. Like his first lap, he's like, I got to get out. Like that's how the 800s run, and it's just something that you're gonna have to develop and learn.
But yeah, Marco, we still, I don't know, we still probably haven't really seen him in a 1500. That's like a Jakob style 1500, where it is actually even splits essentially, which I don't know if that suits him more.
Well,
But
either he's going to
seems
feel
to-
really good at it, or he's going to feel like this is really fucking hard.
Yeah.
So, like, to see him in that race, I would love to. And I think he's so talented. I think he could do it. He's a big boy, though. He's massive.
Yeah.
For a 15 guy, he'd be towering over the other guys.
He certainly is. Before we get more into the actual like Kerr win and how it all went down, we do have to give the big shout out to our boy Yard, who had another great weekend. I think he ended up
Equal third.
equal third.
I think fourth on time.
yeah, fourth on time.
He had
but
equal third points.
ran a
right?
big, yeah. Well, no, wasn't he?
He was equal third on points, but I think time wise, I think he was fourth. That was something to do with the time.
I think the Botswana guy had the tiebreaker over
Yeah.
him.
But
I kind of like that that's the tiebreaker.
the time.
time.
Yeah. I think it actually kind of makes sense.
I like that system as well.
I actually don't. I wish they did the rock, paper, scissors after the race. Everyone gets the
shootout,
crowd
penalty
around.
shootout.
Everyone's trying to see. So it's Jared and the Botswana guy going,
That would be actually very
and that'd be
That'd be
hectic, right?
sick.
And then it's like, oh, he got scissors.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be sick.
But he did run a big PB in the 8 of 144, and he held off the other 1500-meter guys, which I think it like even for us that know him, like I think there was an expectation that it was gonna be hard for him to be better than Josh and Cole in the 800, but so far he's looking absolutely amazing doing that. So it was cool to see him do pretty well in that as well. I mean, not pretty well, do amazing in that and run so fast. So
Beating Cole twice in a weekend is
yeah,
is like got to be
huge
pretty
for him.
good.
Especially like when he's they're just honest races, you know. It's not like a paced Diamond League race or anything like that. It's just these are just honest races. But yeah, Kerr, it's crazy how much momentum you have after winning the first one, like the first of the two events. It just changes the dynamic just with those 12 points that you secure compared to the 8 points of second place. Because one thing that I found a little bit, I don't know, deflating was that it's like Kerr just came 5th in the 800 and then he wins overall. And I think there's like a
who do
fundamental
you think
problem with that.
is like more deserving though?
You know,
if you just took the points out of it and you just looked at both races, who would you want to say the winner was?
Botswana, whose name I should know, but I can't remember.
You think
Just
he
for-
should have won?
more competitive in both of them.
two more solid races.
Yeah,
Wait, I just want to look at the results.
because the
He
way
was second and
so him and Yared were
fourth,
both
must be.
2nd and 4th, and then
Yeah.
Josh was 1st and 5th. So they both had 6 if you add those together. Obviously, the first being worth so much more,
you
but
get a big bonus for the win.
but he was the Botswana athlete was just more competitive in both events.
Yeah.
which is
It just depends if you want to, reward consistent performance over both days, or you want to reward
that dub.
a dub,
Yeah.
which is what
Yeah.
they've obviously chosen to go that route.
Yeah, the issue with that I find is like a viewer is still just like it's a little bit anticlimactic when, like, for example, the title of the YouTube video that they uploaded for, I think on the NBC Sports YouTube page for the 800 was Josh Kerr has solid 800 and wins Grand Slam. It's like, okay, no, like that's just such an unexciting way of like
Well, looking at the placing here, it's really
sharing
interesting
it.
because like Kerr wins, right? He was 5th in the 8, 1st in the 15. Arop was 1st in the 8, 7th in the 15.
Yeah,
And then you have the Botswana
he's
2nd and
second.
4th.
Yeah,
But you also have Pete Bowl, 3rd and 5th. He was 1, 2, 3, 4. He was 5th.
yeah.
But he was 3rd and 5th. Like that seems better than 5th, but he got 5th. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's very consistent.
even Yared, like 4th and 2nd, really good. But 1st and 7th for Arop, like
and he still comes
he
second.
still comes second
overall.
because he won the 8.
Yeah, I wonder if they will adjust that.
And he was
for
only
certain
2
events.
points. He was only 2 points away from Kerr. Like if Kerr dropped to 6th, he probably would have still had it. But
Yeah, it does seem to be 1st and 7th doesn't sound like you should be able to come second still.
No, it doesn't. And I think it's just when you compare it to other sports that have a 2 race format, like, I don't know, F1's like the obvious example. It's like they've managed to have it. I don't know how you apply this to Grand Slam, to mid D, to distance, but they've managed to have it in a way where every race means everything. If you watch both races in F1, and I'm talking about qualifying the actual race, they both mean the absolute world to win that race. You know what I mean? Like they're both so important and they mean everything on that day. Whereas, I mean, obviously both these races mean everything to the athletes, but it's just the fact that, yeah, it's like you can come 5th, get kind of like buried, and then like, oh, you just won overall.
Hypothetically, if the win was worth 10 instead of 12, what would the scores have been?
let me check.
Let's
Also, while I check,
because I feel like maybe a 2-point bonus instead of a 4-point bonus.
while I check,
Would Josh still win?
No.
if he Josh would be
Take 2 points off.
if he took he'd be 14.
What was
But take
Yared?
two-
What was
but-
Yared?
Yared was 13.
Oh, he still would have won.
So he'd still win by 1 point.
Arop would have been 12, which means Yared and I'm going to butcher his last name. The Botswanan guy,
Hangura.
would have been second, and then Yared would have been equal second, third.
So Josh still would have won if you got it to
Josh still would have won because I think the 5th was good enough.
But then it's more close, which is.
But if
kinda
he was
cool.
6th, then the Botswanan would have won.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, I kind of think that I feel like 10 is enough.
Yeah.
But how competitive it is, I think 10's like good.
Get that extra one point.
What do you guys think about them when they win the Slam Championship? They get their little Grand Slam flag and they hold it up like their country flag. I actually personally, no offense, Grand Slam, I fucking hate it. I think it looks terrible.
I think it's offense to that.
I think it looks disrespectful to any time you win a medal and you're holding up your flag. Like that's an iconic thing. You're holding up a Grand Slam.
What would be a better?
Your national flag. Just hold up your national flag. It's cool.
Then it is like winning a medal, though.
I mean, they're winning $100,000. Like,
I think you could just hold up. It's their version of holding
in
up
Diamond
a
League, you hold up your flag if you break a national record.
I don't think it's like disrespectful. I think it's more just like
it just feels disrespectful. It's not.
You think so?
Yeah, but for me,
I think they're just trying to get a
good
good picture to put on their Instagram. That just conveys the information.
You know what they should do? You know what'd be a good picture? What they should do is get a cannon and shoot $100,000 in the dollar bills at them, and then it just goes like flying like rain. That'd be a great photo.
I think they do. I think it's a nice like. So it shows like the whole crowd, like, all right, that's who won, and like
give them a crown. Or
if
something.
the crowd's struggling to find who won, though, George.
But
everyone's struggling.
Everyone's struggling. Josh was struggling. He was like looking around, like he was fucking counting on his fingers.
Well, they just run up to him and give him the Grand Slam. Do they have a trophy?
Grand Slam check.
They just have a check.
Oh, they have an envelope.
Oh, you just tell them like they have an earpiece, and then they said, "Oh, you've won Grand Slam," and then you just do this. Just put your hands like this.
Can you describe what you're doing for the listeners?
I am doing the business hand that the commissioner does usually when he's talking about stuff, which is where you put your three
Commissioner
fingers.
MJ?
Commissioner MJ, yeah. Commissioner Gordon. Got the bat signal out. Josh Kerr's answered the signal. No, Josh Kerr would be more like Harvey Dent than Batman, I think.
It's a good, I can see that.
The White Knight. And then let's not go into what happens to Harvey Dent, but I think Batman's more like Marco Arop or Yara. Like, I can see them being Batman.
Yeah. But it is huge for Joe. I feel like that's just like the monkey off his back now because he's...
Until the next Grand Slam when Yara wins. But
yeah, but there's only 4 of them. So if you win one of them, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
You know?
Honestly, to be fair, I did think Cole was going to win one earlier.
Hey, we still got
they were only halfway through.
That's true.
It is crazy that they are already halfway through that at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the first time they've been halfway through in Grand Slam history, so...
Oh, that's good.
That was good. And they're going to Philly for the first time.
And this will be the first time ever Grand Slam history. They're going to be in Philly. The first time in Grand Slam history.
I can't even remember exactly what you're
he was saying that Grant Fisher is back-to-back Grand Slam winner and the first time in Grand Slam history.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And I thought, Merba, you're really stringing this along, brother. You're really stringing this along. Hey, Merba, you're the first one to commentate on Grant Fisher doing the back-to-back Grand Slam champion in Grand Slam history. Congratulations.
What do you guys reckon happened to Centro? Why did he get replaced by Choiki Chavez? Do you think?
They probably thought
he got left in Jamaica.
They probably thought Centro. We need somebody that isn't as threatening.
No, it's just like what's his name? John.
Who's John?
The other guy commentating. Isn't this
John Kerr? John Kerr.
What's his name? The ESPN guy.
Yeah, he's actually amazing.
Yeah.
I swear.
He did all the NCAA stuff.
He does the NCAA's SEC.
What's his name? How do we not know that?
John Travolta.
How do we not know his name?
John Hamm.
He's the racer and the person on the end's the challenger.
Oh, okay.
It's like challenger commentator.
And they have Sanya Richards-Ross as well.
Wait, so Chiqui Chavez was the challenger commentator?
Yeah, it'll be a new one. That's what that's the spot. That's the spot we're going for.
Did he win, or I don't know how that works with commentating? How do you win?
I didn't see the flag.
Hey, when's Coffee Club going to become the challenger?
Exactly.
I thought. Okay, Kyle. I thought we had an agreement that we would be on at least one.
The
Philly one could be good.
We could do an audition tape.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should do the commentary on LA. I reckon we should do LA.
I agree.
Should we make our own? Even if they don't invite us?
Yeah, I reckon we should make our own because we would do amazing commentary and I feel like everyone would listen to us, particularly for short
and then if you go in the Peacock app on the TV, you can select like alternative commentary and that'll be it'll
be our commentary.
Our version.
Yeah.
I think it would have more listeners.
Kyle, Commissioner Gordon, can you please just get us on the commentary? You will not regret it, trust me. Your viewership will go up tenfold.
Just get us on we could just set up a bench right next to theirs.
Also, we might get an opportunity to get like some cool people on like the pod afterwards. We could do like an after party pod.
Who would you want?
Sydney McGuckins. I'd want Kung Fu Kenny. I'd want
So just double winners only.
Yeah, only the winners. Only the people that are undefeated in Grand Slam history. Like, I want Kyle Membrane on it.
Grant right now.
I want Grant.
Melissa. Jefferson.
Yeah, Melissa Jefferson. I want honestly, I want the commissioner on. I want
Course.
Commissioner Gordon on. And I would love to have Josh Kerr and Cole. Actually, I'd love to have Josh, Cole, and Yared on, and then we don't tell him, and then we get Jakob to fly in. We pay him. We get him a wig and a mustache, and he dresses up like Morgan, and then he interviews him. That would be my dream. But I don't know if it's going to work out.
Speaking of being unbeaten, the distance runners are at a huge disadvantage for the bonus 100K.
They're not getting it. There's no way they're getting it.
What
The
was
distance
that for
runner-
again? Was that whoever has the most points?
Yeah.
Yeah, sprints is just like obviously going to get
It's
it.
going to be Sydney and Kenny probably.
Allison and Kenny are tied right now. Dos Santos. Because 400,
that
you
is true.
forgot about
Yeah,
Allison.
400 hurdles is like the obvious favorite to win that every year.
Wait, is there one for the men and one for the women?
Only one each.
Oh,
So like a
I
distance
see.
runner's never ever
Dude, it's
ever
like,
gonna win that.
do you guys, I don't
It's
know.
not it's too unpredictable.
The whole, in my mind, the whole, like the way it's designed is for sprinters, but do you guys think it's even exciting for these sprinters when they just fucking dominate every single
I had outside viewership from Meg's parents.
What's the sprint
and
version of
they-
Coffee Club? They'll probably talk about.
Well, they pretty much said that like the distance is way more interesting to watch because I think with the sprint it's way more.
It's
Yeah,
like,
but
I mean, it's
careful.
different.
We've had a couple of comments saying that we're way too biased to make this decision.
Okay.
And they're absolutely right.
It is amazing to watch Kung Fu Kenny win both.
It
because
is.
It's actually somewhat of a question. Like DeSantos winning the 400 hurdles every time is just like do they even need to run this? Like,
But to be fair, like no offense to the sprints, but there's no Noah Lyles, there's no Shikari, there's no like there's a lot of the top people aren't doing it. It's the same with the distance. Like
Same with the
Jakob,
distance,
Jakob's
You
not
can
doing
say
it.
that easily. for the
However,
distance.
I feel like for the distance, there's more going on. There's more storylines.
they get
than
to
the
touch
sprints.
each other because they're not restricted.
They do get to touch each other, which I think helps. I think Meg's parents love that. But in general, like I think it's just way more interesting with the distance because there's a lot more movement. Whereas in the sprints,
We're not biased at all.
it's not as much going on.
completely
Unbiased
opinions.
Unbiased take there.
Another
and I
unbiased.
I think from what I've heard, they should just get rid of the sprints entirely and just do distance.
This is more distance.
Grand
Just
Slam
do
distance.
What is the
and then
10K
bring
half
all
marathon group?
yeah, and then bring all the money from the sprints in. I mean, the sprints like they get paid really well, so we'll just move all the money into the distance, and that's not
Actually a
biased
good
at all.
idea. I
That's
don't
not
mind
biased at
that.
all. The commissioner has already been talking about it. I think he's just going to set up a distance-only league called the Chicken Boy Morgs League.
Yeah. Amazing.
Amazing.
Make it happen. Moving on.
I have loved watching the women's short distance. Both Jamaica and Miami did freaking electric races.
Like Melissa.
No, short distance.
Oh,
Sorry.
short distance. Sorry.
Not,
Yeah.
not long sprints.
I was still in
Not long
sprint.
sprints.
I'm being biased again.
Is that long sprints or short distance? I can't tell because it's kind of a sprint, 800 meters
Dude,
sprint.
It is a bit of an oxymoron, short distance, right? It's
Yeah.
a bit confusing.
Mm.
For you to wrap
And
your
also
head
long
around.
sprints is like, okay. So
But long sprints actually gets used. Like that, the 400 actually does get called like a long sprint, I think,
Mm.
out of the Grand Slam format.
But the
whereas
800 is kind of a
no one
sprint.
has ever.
No one's ever said short distance.
Are you racing the short distance race today?
Why do
It's
they
called
not like middle?
mid-distance.
Why they not
It's
like?
called mid-distance.
Why do they not like middle distance?
Just for
They did not for consistency.
yeah,
Whatever.
consistency's sake.
Consistency's sake.
Yeah, the women's races have been very electric. I think it was really exciting, especially to see same as we just said about the men's. All of the continuing storylines. I was in particular very excited to see the rise of Mary Moraa.
What a comeback from day one.
Yeah,
The comeback. Her ability to win an 800
is very impressive.
It's
and very
amazing.
Did
impressive.
she finish the day before?
in the 15.
In the 15.
Yeah, she did.
did.
She did finish.
She took the lead for about 50 meters, and then all of a sudden she was out of camera shot.
I don't actually know what she finished, if she did finish.
I think she was. Let me
Last
check.
Maybe eight. Maybe eight.
7th. But
I have it all up. So.
But all good when you come back and win the 8
yeah,
from the front.
protect
at
that
the end.
title.
That was pretty sick.
New on teammate, Hailu.
She was 8th. She
She
ran.
was 8th
Guess
in the
what? She
15?
ran the 15.
425.
Oh, George, good guess. 424. But
was
the
the
winner
win-
ran
was the win-
406.
Dude, they
So that's why
closed
she was
in,
out of the
they
camera
closed
rate.
in 201.
And she got third.
In the
For
50.
real.
She got third overall, Moira, because she won the 8.
Yeah, it's winning,
She got
baby.
third.
Mm.
It's all about that dub. But Nikki once again looking very strong and just consistent, I would say. But Hailu, who is one of quite a few amazing Ethiopian women in the mid-distance scene right now, she looked pretty damn ferocious out there. And she got the dub. I think she just signed with On like I don't know if it was like just this week or whatever, but
Seemed like it.
yeah,
That was pretty sweet.
that was a big deal. That was good.
First on Grand Slam champ. Must be.
Yeah. First in history.
Yeah, before
First
Yard.
first in Grand Slam history.
First in Grand Slam history, first in on history. Dream on.
Dream on. Exactly. Anything else from the women's short distance?
I honestly, Nikki Hiltz, I love their haircut. It's like a mullet. It's sick.
Is it a mullet? Is that what
Yeah.
it's classified as?
I think I would classify as a mullet. They rocked it very well. So shout out to that. I love a good
Some
mullet.
Baller racing from
Baller racing.
Nikki.
From Nikki. I mean, was it 201 close in the 15?
Yeah.
That's
And
fucking crazy.
while they were like behind Hilo in lane 1, had Waltije and Jess Hull on the outside, was like, well, fuck, no way through here. Literally slowed down, went out to like lane 3, went all the way around the outside,
Jesus.
and almost caught Hilo at the end. It's like, wow, that's one way to do
That's
it.
like what freaking Cole did at the Olympics.
So what he
like literally he got nicked, he had to slow down and then sped up again and won.
They let him through though.
They did let him through. This time they didn't. They said, no.
I think it is the same as the men's side though, where you might not realize it sometimes watching it, but I think the level of racing right there is so high. And like, cause even like, Waltege, like, she's like, they're all so good.
So good.
So it's like, even when you see some of these people like dropping off a little bit, they're still probably like in pretty damn
I mean,
good
like
shape,
Jess
but-
Hull, like being in the middle of those 2 Grand Slams, Olympic silver medalist, and like early year, like still competing really well. Still so impressive.
Think they'll get Faith out to one?
No. I reckon they won't get any of the top
hard.
dogs out because I reckon Faith, Jakob, Shikari, Noah, they'd be asking for an ungodly amount of money from Grand Slam because Grand Slam are flaunting money. They're like, we've got all this money. Like,
But
we'll
don't they
pay
not pay? Do they pay appearance fees? What's like the final
I
verdict
think
on
they
that?
don't have enough money
I don't
anymore.
think they do, but maybe they change that. But I think there's athletes that are probably not going because the Diamond League's probably
paying
paying
them.
them so much just
I-
to
and
show
also, I
off.
think a lot of them have Diamond League contracts.
Yeah.
So I think like Diamond League will have them like pay them appearance fees to turn up to.
That is the
certain
thing,
number.
that there's like contract to go to multiple.
Like
But
I think
I hope
Mondo
that they-
and
I
Yeah,
hope that they
okay.
are not paying. I feel like you paying appearance fees would go against like the point of Grand Slam track.
Yeah, but what if Jakob was like, I'll only come if you pay me $20,000? It's like, all right.
That'd be nothing to them.
yeah,
I would
so
think.
that'd be nothing to Yucca.
I'm
but
just
But
saying
also-
hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically.
Like, then it's like, okay, let's make that
technically though,
happen.
appearance fee, like I mean, it's not an appearance fee, but to get Sydney McGuckins to run this Grand Slam, they paid her in a contract, which is kind of like an appearance fee.
That's the same
100%,
thing. That's the same
yeah.
thing as an appearance fee.
But-
But that's the difference between that was at one point like meant to be the difference between some like the challenges and the races is like
The races get appearance fees.
the people that were on
Technically.
Essentially.
contracts because
Yeah.
there are contracts to
What do you reckon
It's probably-
McGuckins is probably like $1 million or something? It's crazy.
yeah probably like 1 to 10 million somewhere in
Man,
that range.
that's a lot of schmeckles.
It's a lot of schmeckles indeed. The women's long distance was what's the word, bloodbath
Yeah, that's probably a good one for her.
twice over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing racing. Honestly, I think they just do not hold back, and it makes sense because Engetic, Agnes, I think she's coming off. Did she? I don't know. Did she set the 10K road record last week in the ADAS event, or she is the 10K road world record holder? One of those two, maybe
And I
both of
think
those two.
number 2 all time in the half. I'm
So
pretty sure.
it's like she's racing the 3K and the 5K on the track. So obviously her tactic is to go very fast and see what happens. And it's working out very, very well for her so far. But I didn't watch the 5K, which they end up running 14:25, super, super fast. I did watch the 3K, and whoever it was that led the first lap, I think she was one of the Ethiopians who did end up dying. She took him out in a 62. It was a 62 first lap in the women's 3K. And
What did the men's 3K go out in? Probably 72.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So that was also a very fast one, and it was just carnage, but some amazing racing. It was really exciting watching that race to see our teammate Sige up there crushing it. She ended up 4th place, but she went to the front on the backstretch in the last lap. But yeah, pretty amazing just racing and very fast times across both events. The 3K had 4 women under 8:25. Which is, you don't see.
I think that's
8:25 that
faster
often.
than a lot of the men in the actual long distance 3K as well.
Yeah, pretty much. I had the funniest moment watching the men's 3K where I was seeing Koki for treatment. And so like I missed the start of it and we put it on. And then like I was like, oh, how far in are they? Because they they weren't showing the distance. They just had like the clock at that time. And based off the time in the clock, I was like, oh, they're at like 1,600 meters. And then I was a whole 400 meters off. Like, because they were running out so slow. I was a whole 400 meters off where they actually were, because I did not realize that they were jogging that hard. But yeah, and Geddes did get the overall win in the women's long distance, which was pretty sweet. And yeah, she's one of the racers, so she'll be around to go back.
It seems like they're just going to run that back every time.
Yeah.
I at least must just be looking at the men's races, being like, come on, like,
Yeah, put me in that.
let me at one of these races,
Like, switch over, and then she probably would be able to outkick some of the men and get some more cash.
Yeah, it's funny how it's worked out like that, where they've both kind of slid into kind of routines. And the women's, the thing is, I think the men's will shake up and change up, but at one point the women's, no, I think it's gonna
Stay the same.
go this every single time, and it's very impressive to see. But it makes sense because she's winning doing it, so why would you not keep it going?
Yeah.
But speaking of the men's long distance, it was a couple of really exciting races. I think it was a really interesting field of, like, in terms of the challenges that they added, like who exactly was in it, and one of them was Mr. Andrew Corcoran.
Andrew Capricorn, yeah.
Andrew Capricorn.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, Geordie, what do you think of that last 100 split? Do you reckon you could match that in that type of race?
Was it like 11-8?
11-8, 9. Last 100.
8, 9.
That's pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
That's
moving.
That's moving.
But I know that, like,
moving.
it's a slow race, but still, that's...
What was their last 400, I wonder?
Yeah,
That
that's a good
seems so
question.
quick.
Because they ran, what was it? I think the winning time was 8:17 for the 3K.
It was not quick, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty slow.
It's a big old
Like,
jog
that's what I'm
fest.
saying. Like, 11:8:9 sounds reasonable in that, but like being able to like move your legs like
Is
that.
it 23-second 200? It would be.
It's on pace.
I think
for-
they're only closing 25 though.
Yeah.
So maybe it was
it was literally just 100.
Big
like,
last 100.
big last 100.
I think you could do that.
I would like to think not. I couldn't have done that last weekend, but
Well, that's because you would have been too far back. You'd have
No,
run out of
that's the
track.
good thing about Grand Stands. You can't get that far back because not very
Yeah,
many,
with that
not
running
many
pace.
people.
That's true.
Yeah, so
Pace
true.
and the number of people. That would help me. No shit. I with like 400 to go. I was watching with Jenna and I was like, dude,
This is my race.
Cosgren has a great last 100. Like
He does.
You picked him.
He's in this. I don't know if I picked him to win. I didn't say he's going to win, but I was just like, dude, this guy has a.
Well, Grant now knows that
He's
he
not
can't
out of it.
outkick everyone. Because
Yeah,
I
but
feel
is
like that's...
Corcoran going to be back? Because if I'm Grant, that means that Grant ran like 11-9. I'd be like, oh, I'm pretty fucking good at kicking people now. As long as Corcoran's done the race, I could probably outkick everyone. you know?
Because he's probably
Yeah.
thinking, I'll take the check and go.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, there's not that many people that are
He knows
5K, 10K
Cosgren's
guys that can do that.
He knows Cosgren's not going to be in the 5 or 10 at the end of the year.
Yeah, this guy's not. He might be in the 5K. Probably not the 10 though.
Maybe not the 10, yeah.
He could. He definitely has actually some strength. Grant was definitely calling him a 1500 guy, but
Yeah.
he did win the Australian 10K
He did.
a couple of years ago.
He did do
He also ran 3K at World Indoors, so he's running distance. What's it called? That's mid distance to,
Yeah, I
to
mean,
the commissioner.
the thing is, he's no joke. He's a 7:30 man from February, was it?
He's from Ireland.
in Boston. Also from Ireland. Both of these.
Oh,
facts
from
are true.
February. You mean like the date? Yeah.
Yeah, easy to get those.
He's
confused.
Capricorn's not in February though. When's Capricorn?
Couldn't tell
Do you know the star signs, don't you, George?
Could be February. Who knows?
Could be Febby. Anyway, Cozzy clicking down Grant was pretty amazing, but I also felt like, what do you guys think going into the 5K? Do you think, it's going to be quick now after that 3K? Or were you guys thinking like, they're going to do a jog fest again?
I think we knew it was like Grant's not going to take it from lap 1. Like
No,
that's just
yeah.
like setting yourself up for failure. But I think we've seen Grant enough times in US championships do a really fast last mile, and he's
That's a trademark Grant
one
move.
of the best in the world at it. So I think we knew that he was going to try and do something along those lines, and that's how it did play out. And
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised at how dramatic he destroyed everyone, because those are really good guys. I thought at least like someone could try stick with him for, I don't know, everyone like races, maybe it's because of the prize money, but don't you think like everyone races, particularly distance, very conservatively, because it's like no one wanted to risk really, like George Mills did for maybe 50 meters, but like
Mhm.
no one tried to go Grant for 2 laps, which you might see that in some other race settings where it's like they actually like put everything into going. No one else really wanted to try. They seem pretty content.
I think like sometimes in another race scenario, there's at least the second, like there's a fallback bonus of either running fast or hitting a time or something that makes it worth like the extra risk.
Yeah.
Now it's like they know there's nothing else to gain, basically, except for some cash. So they're like, oh, guess I'm racing for second.
Yeah.
Well, what about like
you could tell they were like too eager just to settle for that.
Some of those other guys, Grant's thing, like his close was absolutely amazing. Like that sub 4 mile, but I know those other guys can do that.
Well, I was gonna say,
in the
what
right setting.
3:57 was it last mile?
Yeah,
Like
off a pretty.
To be honest,
slow-
with the amount of
1600.
talent, there, that's not. I wouldn't think. Maybe I'm being naive, but I wouldn't think like people in that race could.
No, I mean,
do
if
that.
you go to the,
I think they
heats-
could
if you go to the
100% do
heats
that.
at World Champs, like probably everyone that qualifies
Can
might
do
be
that.
doing that. You know, like
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
there's a lot of people. That
I would
can do
expect
that.
like George Mills and Cozzy to be able to do that.
Like Kamoy, like
Yeah, I just
Cooper,
expect them
Cooper
like
can probably.
yeah, 3:57 last like they
it's
probably
it's
could do that.
crazy. It's crazy, and it's really impressive.
Yeah, but
It's
it's not
amazing
that
to
they
do.
would be getting dropped like they did.
But
Maybe
maybe
just the 3K
and maybe
was
it's
in
at
the
this
legs.
point in the year as well, because like yeah, that's the type of thing that people really, I guess, like prepare for more later in the year when they sharpen it up for like those full championship races. But now that's what Grand Slam is
Yeah,
every single time, and I think everyone's fit, but clearly Grant is another level of fit compared to everyone else right now. So that's why he's able to go and do those things, and he got rewarded with back-to-back dubs.
Could just enjoy the last 100.
Yeah, got to
Good
chill.
for him.
Yeah. I guess he could have run faster if he had.
yeah, he
had
probably put
someone
the brakes on maybe.
had someone with him.
Definitely. I think his fastest lap was 3 to go,
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy.
yeah. That's when he dropped his 58, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Grand Slam. Those are
I wonder if Kyle will try and bring in some challenges that will run like the women.
well. I think after last time we were all so excited to see Hagos do that, and then
Yeah.
he had to pull out of this one for I'm not sure what reason. But if I was Kyle, yeah, I would try make sure Hagos is back there, and then get like a few other Hagoses as well.
Well, I let Carl know
Yeah.
that I'll do that. I'll just take it
Put
out.
Ollie in there.
Yeah, I'll take it out.
Hopefully we'll see Louis G back for the next two
He
as
should be
well.
back, right?
Hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know which
The thing
I
is,
don't know which team he's in. Argos team or
dude,
Okay.
I feel like he would go with Hagos potentially, but I don't know if he would want to ever lead out Grant. I don't think many people would.
no,
Yeah.
true.
So yeah, those are two like different things, I suppose. It's hard to do. But yeah, that was Grand Slam. I think we did enjoy it. It was some great racing. Some good improvements from the first one. I don't know. Anything else to say?
I think it's picking up steam.
I think the next two will be the biggest for sure. I think that's not a surprise, but it'll be interesting to see how big they actually are, and what the future lies for Grand Slam, because the Diamond League is also changing a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how the Diamond League responds to Grand Slam's efforts.
I wonder if they're going to get easier to find people for, or will they get slightly harder in June because some of the challengers are like, I can't really afford to go to Grand Slam. I got to go get a standard somewhere.
I
Whereas
reckon
now
they
they're
get
like-
easier. At least the next one. I don't
Easier to
know.
get bigger people for.
Yeah,
I think everyone wants to do LA and Philly. I think everyone wants to do that.
There's enough people out there with the standard.
that's what I'm thinking. Like probably most people that they would want for that position already have the standard.
The Hobbses of the world.
Yeah, got to get Hobbs in it. Isn't it like Hobbs in that A15 group?
Well, it just makes sense from day one that Hobbs would be one of the best for it because he ran at the 8 and the 15 at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to happen. Like, there's no way.
It's perfect for him.
Unless he's dealing with an injury or a niggle, it's perfect for him. He should be doing it.
Yeah. I wonder how you would, we've talked about this in the past, but like, and I don't think Grand Slam is focusing on this at all right now, as they probably shouldn't because it's so early in their cycle. But I do wonder how like the number, like more traditional, not just our takes on like, oh, it was good or it wasn't good, more traditional metrics of success for a sporting event or anything that's like entertainment.
Well, it was
How
the
they do.
second biggest sporting event in Miami.
No, I heard that there was like
There was
a
something
baseball
else.
game
There
on.
was something else on, but I think it was something to do with like it was racing. It was a racing thing, wasn't it, George?
It got less. I think it got less viewers though. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see with those metrics, but it'd be interesting to see how they measure success to their investors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, eventually, it has to come down to probably those cold hard numbers,
Mm.
which
I mean, with all of our coffee club fans, if they got us on, they would be able to boost their numbers. Numbers go up. Membrane. Commissioner,
we know you're listening.
We know you're listening. Please, for the love of everything, put us on. Make it happen. We'd take a cheeky 100K.
That's all it will take to get us on. We'll make that back.
Oh, George, do you reckon we should get paid more? Do you reckon we're valued higher than that?
Each?
Yeah, I bet each. Yeah.
including Gus.
Well, Gus gets paid the most, so because he's the commissioner of coffee clubs, so
he's basically Michael Johnson.
He's basically
in every way.
He'll be competing in the commissioner's race.
Yeah,
representing.
He'd actually do pretty well right now. He's pretty fit.
Yeah, I think he would. So one other race that maybe you saw, maybe you didn't, that went on this past weekend was the USATF Road 5K, and we just want to quickly shout out this one because, a couple of members of Coffee Club Track Club got their first US titles.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was for Olin as well. It must be, right?
Yeah, that is Olin's first because I'm thinking NCAA's is other one.
So pretty huge. It went down in Indy, and it was actually, it's a bit sad because at one point it was supposed to be the selection race for the World Road Running Champs, which was meant to happen in San Diego. So obviously it would have been a bit more hyped if that hadn't got cancelled. But it was still a couple of very competitive, good races with actually a lot of prize money on offer. So congrats to Olin, who got the win on the men's side. And then a huge congrats as well to Josette, who got a dominating victory on the women's side. I think
coming back from Philly, just impressive.
1 week later, she told me she took off at 1 mile into the race and just
never looked back. I think she said she split like a 4:40 for like the second mile or something crazy like that, and just dropped them and just got it done. How about Olin?
Big
kick down, I'm guessing.
It was a kick down. It was a kick down type race,
taking down Casey Klinger.
Yeah, so I mean, pretty sick racing. I think the Road 5K is actually a cool event. It doesn't really like exist, in that big of capacity, but it's actually a pretty sweet event because you can get so many different athletes out there competing in it, and yeah, it's just cool. So that was some big wins for the Coffee Club Track Club. So we'll put that in our back pocket. A couple more US titles in the bank. We'll take those. Gus is very happy about that.
Gus is very happy with that.
Good ROI on that.
And then the final.
Yes.
That's how we measure success. That's how we measure. That's how. What's the word?
Cold hard numbers.
That's what our investors look for.
US titles.
What's the business term? That's my KPI. That's our KPI.
That's KPI.
I was looking for KPI for a little bit there in my head, and we got there eventually. So I'm happy about that. Finally, the second half of the back-to-back Diamond League season openers in China went down. I'm going to say it was a Shanghai Diamond League, even though I know it technically was not in Shanghai. It was in a different city whose name I'm not sure of. But similar to the first one, kind of like a lot of pretty amazing performances.
Yeah.
But we didn't pay that much attention to it because it was while we were sleeping, I believe, right before we woke up in the early hours of the morning. We did have Sage coming back from our team in the 800. She ran a 159, which is not bad for her at this point in the season. I know she's still looking for a little bit more. I mean, she's a 157 gal, so I think in the 800, it's one of those things where you can race a lot, and every single time you obviously want to run a PB. So
yeah,
it's kind of what you're going for. But still, I think she did really well in a great field. Australian record, second fastest Australian ever, 157 for Sarah Billings to come second in the race.
Pretty amazing considering
an Ethiopian record.
She's had a long I would say a long career of just dealing with a lot of adversity, and to see her come through, because she ran amazing at nationals. So to come through chipping away, getting better and better, and then running a time like that is just incredible. So it's very exciting to see her. And she's already been selected for Tokyo World Champs, so she'll be representing Australia.
In the 800?
In the 800, yeah.
Didn't Abby win nationals?
Yeah, she was second.
Two of them. I think
she hit the qualifications for it, right. And then just running that just shows you she's going to be hopefully crushing it in the next few months.
She can relax now for a couple months.
Yeah,
she can take some time off.
She can.
Does Kat still have the record?
Yeah,
I think she does.
But incredible run. It's great to see Sarah do so well.
That's so fast.
Yeah,
really fast. And there was a pretty stacked men's 5K. These 5K races that they host in China are just absolute shit shows where they have. The weather is generally not good, and I think once again it was pretty warm. bit
Yeah.
muggy to go run a fast 5K.
How was the air quality? Do you know?
I didn't get any air quality reports on this one, but generally in China, it's not amazing.
Probably
but-
similar to Boulder.
Yeah, but then they just they just stack these races with like just so many people and so many amazing like Ethiopians generally, because I think was it that the meet organizer is an agent for a lot of the Ethiopian athletes, something like that. There's some connection, and so they just have and the thing is like the Ethiopian athletes are really good at racing in hot weather as well. So they just fucking dominate.
It's their bread and butter.
So we had Aragawi, who, if anyone's going to win in those conditions, it's going to be, I think, Aragawi.
Can you get him in a Grand Slam?
Yeah.
My God.
He would be, actually, he would be the most exciting
Yeah.
guy because he does the most wild moves out of anyone.
And he just rips from early out too. If
He
he wants
rips. He ran a casual 12:50. So
to. That's insane.
he's
In about 85 degrees, I'm sure.
he's doing pretty well right now. So good for him. But yeah, I think it was a tough race. And then it was another steeple that went down, which was one in, what did you say before, George? 807?
I think another 807. A few 80 mid runs in China. One by an Ethiopian guy, but running for on. Maybe first Diamond League steeple win for on.
That's pretty
Seems
good.
like it. We're stacking the steeple field, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
On's growing, baby.
I'm excited to see you run 7:45 for the steeple.
That'd be nice, huh?
Yeah, in your next race. I mean, just watching you do the steeple, it's just you're definitely in 70:45 shape for the steeple.
I do love the look of these like 806, 807 Diamond League wins. None of this like 755 rubbish.
Yeah, you don't want you want that kind of like 80 something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, shit,
That's
if we
an
can
ideal
just keep
race.
those.
Actually, why don't
Nice
we?
big kick
We
down.
we can't end this podcast until all of us have won a Diamond League. I think that's like a rule. So Morgan
think
get
that's a good
into those
idea.
5Ks and win one of those, and then Geordie got the
Just don't
steeple.
go to China.
Just don't go to China.
Don't go to China.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
Hell yeah! I was like trying to think of you. Like, oh, you fucking won one last year.
Yeah, I
That's
won
why you
one.
said
I won
that.
one by default.
You won a very stacked one.
I think an 807, 8 steeple, that's definitely winnable. I hope they just stay
100%.
not.
100%.
Perfect.
And for this time of year too, it's perfect.
No,
right?
but that's concerning because this time of year is not when I'm doing one.
Good point.
We got
Yeah.
2 months down the line when they're probably going to be running a lot faster. But
I don't know though. I feel like I don't think they will. I don't know why. I feel like the people that make it quicker than that it's just like it's not like many people can physically do that. It's
Yeah.
like there's a few key players, and I don't know. I could be proven very wrong here, but I feel like right now it seems like maybe they're not going to get it to quite that level. We'll
Yeah.
see though.
Either way, I'm
See how
excited
it
to see
unfolds.
you.
maybe Jimmy.
Jimmy G.
He will probably run
Dude.
a very fast steep. I don't know
I'm
how
sure
he
he could.
I don't know how he's at getting over barriers.
Pretty good at getting over the finish tape.
Yeah.
He's going to be holding a crepe in his hand, otherwise he can't hurdle.
Yeah.
Or it's a French flag and a crepe, and then he's just the most beautiful hurdler you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. This is Jamie Garcia for anyone that's wondering. He's apparently moving to the steeple this year
Is
Or-
that actual? Is that confirmed?
Or at least he's teasing that he is.
because there was a picture of him doing one in training or something.
No, he steepled the finish line tape at the
Yeah.
European Road Champs at running 59:30.
Yeah, that's
Had
kinda crazy.
had the legs to hurdle the finishing tape, and then in the interview, he literally like said something about a steeplechase.
No, because Cinta showed me a picture of him going over a barrier.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So I think he must have posted something. I don't know. Something
That'd
like
be a great guy to get in the podcast, but we need a translator.
Yeah, or you just gotta learn French.
Yeah, I can just. I
You
can
could be our translator.
Yeah, I'll just do an XQC and just.
He would be great for the steeple though. Like he'd bring some good character energy.
You would.
We
Well,
need
for
some-
sure.
we need some
he
main
wins-
character energy
If he
in the
wins
steeple.
something, he'd pull something off. Like he does all those weird finishes, do a somersault or something.
You guys bring back the Ezekiel Kemboy
I would
stuff.
honestly, I'd love like this is probably a bit okay. I would love if he's doing all those crazy celebrations like after the last hurdle, and then you just come in and just
I knew
like
you
pip him on the line, and he's like, "No,
All right, that's foreseeing what's going to happen in Monaco this year.
dude, I'd love to see that. It'd be
Like
unreal.
drama.
Drama, we love it.
Yep. So that was. I don't know if are we missing anything? Did anything else special happen in this past week that we should comment on? That we should give our opinion on? That we feel like the people
Feel
need to
strongly
hear
about.
Well, I do feel strongly about something, George, that I'd love to argue about. If you have a couple minutes.
Let me just check my schedule. Oh yeah, I got a couple minutes.
So, I recently went to Seaburger. with the fellas
Oh, we need-
and Meg. And
people
I
at home are
have
gonna
to.
really love this argument.
I actually have to admit, personally, I think it's way better than Wild Pastures. I think it's way better.
Can we
What
set the
segment
stage?
is this for?
Let's
of
set the
burger?
stage. Let's set the stage.
Is this
Okay.
part 2 of Burger Chat?
Yeah,
or is
we
this
need
only
to
part
compare
3?
it to. We need to compare it to whatchamacallit, the other burger that you said was the best burger in the world.
Oh, Black
Obviously,
Belly?
we did Black Belly
Okay, so
last year.
so Black Belly, honestly,
yeah, where's
it's
Black
good.
Belly at
It's good,
these
but
days?
it's probably overall like if you're wanting.
I think it's a different category because it's not a smash burger, right?
Yeah, I think that's. But also, I think Sea Burger is overall would rank higher than Black Belly. I like Black Belly as one of my favorite ever burgers, but I think there's two things that rank it down: the price and just like I think accessibility to these burgers.
Well,
is,
Black Belly is not a burger shop as well.
No,
so
it's a
it is-
butcher.
It is a different category.
But to be fair, like so, I heard you went with Robert and Joe
To see burger.
to Sea Burger,
To
correct?
Sea Burger.
And
Just so everyone at home
Robert-
knows, Wild Pastures is a burger place that has existed in Boulder for years.
we've been there a few
And we've
times.
been there a few times. It's pretty good. It's a little on the pricey side. But then Sea Burger is a new restaurant that just opened up in the last couple of months. on
Exactly
Pearl
the
Street.
same price, I'd like to point
No,
out.
it's not.
$12.99. They're both the exact
No,
same.
$17. It's $17 for a burger
Are we
at Wild
comparing
Pastures. $10
singles,
for a double
doubles?
burger.
Sorry, what? A burger at Wild Pastures is $12.99.
No, it's not. Unless
Right.
you're getting like the bare minimum.
There is no.
I'm
It
looking
comes.
this shit up.
No, Wild
There's only
Pastures
one.
comes as a double. Sea Burger comes as a single. You add a patty, and it's $12.99.
Controversy.
So Joe told me $17 for Wild Pastures burger, $10.99 for.
That's absolute
Don't
bullshit.
Don't throw Joe under the bus.
I am throwing Joe under the bus. No, but we went yesterday, and I tell you what, it was pretty. The chicken
What did
burger.
you order?
I got
Chicken,
the.
but we're not fucking talking
No,
chicken.
listen,
I got that as your second
I
burger.
got my second burger. Robert ordered 3 burgers.
Three
Yeah,
singles.
three
Three
single.
singles.
He's a single, but he's single.
Yeah.
Which
patty
is
guy.
actually
He
kind
likes
of
buns
How
amazing.
much
a
was
lot,
a
I
single?
guess. 10 something.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
That's
think
not
it's
that.
10.
That's not bad.
You know what's
my
crazy
double
though?
was like. I don't know if it was 10 up.
I think Five Guys and those ones are actually around that. Like they're
Oh, Five
actually kind of
Guys.
expensive.
Five Guys has
expensive.
always been expensive.
They're expensive, but they're big chains, so you would kind of expect like a local
You'd expect.
shop to be a little more pricey,
Yeah, true.
I guess. Ollie ordered the
The A. I got the double A.
you the double.
Is
A.
that just normal? What is
Yeah,
that? I don't know what that means.
That's normal. That's like the
Okay,
most
so
normal
Geordie,
one.
the junior wild beef burger, which is the kids' meal, is $9.88 before tax.
The fuck's that got to do with anything?
Well, you said that the double burger was 10.
What is the double burger? That's their normal cheeseburger. That's what we were trying to compare.
I go to Wild Pastures once a week. I know it's $12.99.
It's not $12.99.
Oh my goodness, this is a ridiculous argument.
So it's $13.06 before add-ons. So I don't know what the add-ons are.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the menu
Show
right now,
me.
bro. This is just the basic burger. It's $13.06, but it's
Oh,
not.
sorry, $12.99
but that
was 7
their
cents.
basic one does include
The basic one is
everything.
a double, unlike Sea Burger, right?
The basic one. Why is it people showing me as a single?
Well,
That's just like
controversial.
random Google.
That's controversial right there.
But it just shows
single
as
this
single
whole
burgers.
time.
But maybe that's because that's what they asked for.
Why don't you just go on the actual website, Standard
I'm
Burger?
on the
$12.99.
Well, it says $13.06.
You're on Google though. You're not on their menu.
It says menu.
No, yes, but you're just on like a Google, like one of those weird things that comes up and it tries to tell you. You're not actually on their website that says $12.99.
I'm gonna try to pull up the Sea Burger menu.
Okay, so now that we've discovered that the price difference is irrelevant, what's your other argument?
The
Wait, what's the
taste.
fries? What's the fries price difference?
The fries are $7. Yeah, for a small fries $4,
Ta-
large fries $7.
Is this is
Where?
Wild Pastures?
Yeah,
The Sea Burger is $5.
for the fries.
They have one size. It's $5.
That's just the same as
Yeah.
well.
What,
So they're
what's
both
the
$5.
what was it? What's a double A burger at Sea Burger? How much does that cost?
11.
$11.
11 even?
Yeah.
All right.
So
So you do have it on price.
I give you $2.
There you go.
yeah, but Robert said that at Wild Pastures.
How is a single 10 something then? You're getting
Eight.
someone's getting
it's
rich.
8?
Eight
I think
for
I'm
the
looking
A.
at a different burger. But Robert said that last time he went to Wild Pastures, he had to drink 13 gallons of water because it was so salty. And Joe also said that he'd just get a puddle on his burger that he couldn't actually get. Like it was just like a messy burger.
This is not. I mean,
this is from the boys.
No,
Yeah, why are you
exactly.
bringing them into it?
This
Let's
is
hear
just
about
from
your
you.
experience.
Okay, last time I went to Wild Pastures, it was pretty solid, but the burger I got was a little bit of an underwhelming experience, only because I felt that the patties themselves didn't taste that good. And then when I went to Seaburger recently, I had 2 burgers. One was the AA, and then I got the chicken burger. But then I got fries. I got the a Topo Chico, a ginger ale, and I got the double swirl custard thing. And
So clearly, price is no object.
no, but listen, I got all that stuff, and then I paid for Meg's meal, which was she got a chicken burger, and then she got fries.
What's going on right
and then
now?
she all that stuff was like $42 or some shit.
There's no way that was all $42.
Before taxes.
There's no
Before
way.
tax and tip.
Yeah. So it was like 60 something.
How
That's
much
pretty
is your
good.
Tip? Oh, taxes and tip.
Yeah. That's pretty
What do
good.
you mean that's pretty good for like a fast food burger place?
But you did just list a lot of
I listed a lot of
food.
shit. That's
Yeah.
good for a lot of shit, dude.
I don't
We
know.
ate a lot of stuff. But also the flavor, the quality, the
No,
vibes.
I like Seaburger.
I think
probably
Seaburger was the
more.
shit, George. And I don't know why you don't like it, because they have the
I didn't
tallow.
say I don't like it. I think Wild Pastures is better.
No.
We have to do it. We have to
No.
get them and now do a comparison.
Yeah, we can do a comparison, but I think Seaburger is way better than Wild Pastures.
That's fine.
I just don't understand why you don't like Seaburger. I just don't
I
get it.
didn't say I didn't like it.
Well, you'd like it less than Wild Pastures. It
That's
makes no
not the
sense.
same thing.
You're a guy that loves good quality. I don't know why you don't like Seaburger.
Again,
It's a good argument.
I don't not like it. I find that one of the biggest things about Pastures is the sauces. Whereas Seaburger just offers you there's just the cheapest mayo and the cheapest ketchup you can buy just like from the fucking
No, you
store.
can get add-on sauces.
Yeah, they have different sauces.
Yeah, they're different.
But that's like the normal they're not obviously home making anything. Whereas Wild Pastures is like,
How do you know that? What about the special Seaburger sauce or their spicy mayo?
They also make a barbecue sauce.
okay, but obviously the ketchup and mayo is just like on the table. Just like
What's
normal.
wrong with that? People would like ketchup and mayo.
They only have
I don't-
ketchup on their table.
I don't like it.
Tomato sauce.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, but they have the option to get the homemade sauces if you want them.
I don't think they do. You guys are just
We were
making that
just
up.
there last night.
No,
They
I
have their
know.
own barbecue sauce, and they have their own special sauce as well.
Yeah, it's probably just like the
Seaburger sauce.
mayo, and that's like a Thousand Island.
But
thing.
you could just try it and see.
What do you mean?
They have a chipotle aioli as well. They have that. They have a homemade chipotle aioli.
Do they?
Yeah, they have it with the chicken burger.
Oh, that makes sense.
Hey, I
They have a tallow
did some
mushroom
research
sauce.
on the run today because I wanted to make sure I could see what Geordie's reaction
What do you mean you
was.
did research on the run?
I talked to Joe and Robert.
Oh,
Yeah, that
that's
was my
valid.
research.
That's actually good research.
Also,
That's good
I also
market
spoke to
research.
Kai, but I just couldn't fathom, after my experience and how lovely it was, I couldn't fathom Geordie not being like, this place is unreal.
I
just
like
couldn't
the
fathom
fries
it.
at Seaburger. I think everything
the
about
fries
Seaburger is just more clean.
Yeah.
I love both, but I think Seaburger's more
Wild
clean.
Pastures, if you were like, George, hey, Ollie, I miss you. Let's go grab a burger. And we went to Wild Pastures. I honestly wouldn't be like, fuck that shit. But I'd
I'd say, let's
prefer
go to
let's
Okay,
go
Seaburger
to
instead.
Seaburger, yeah. I'd
My
prefer
other
Seaburger.
argument, one of the biggest things, I like the burgers both, but when I want a burger, I'm normally not trying to go to a sit-down restaurant and order and pay at the table.
They do have
and all that.
takeout option.
They do have
No,
takeout option.
They have an iPad at the front
Yeah.
where you just go.
They also have they have an online thing that you can do as well.
I don't mean to take it away. I just mean, and like, it's on Pearl Street. It's just it's more of a
Oh, I see
investment
what
in time.
you're saying.
Oh,
You want to go up and order at the front counter and then sit down,
If
rather
I'm
than sitting down and waiting for them to come and serve.
so
you.
you don't
for
want
like
to
a chill burger place, normally I'm like, either, I'm in a mood not to faff around, like at a nice restaurant.
Well,
where that's
technically,
part of it.
We did faff around a little bit last night.
But
We
to
were
be
there for
fair,
quite a
that lady
while.
did have to take like an order of 48 burgers. At, like,
And I'm not
one-
No,
saying
but we
that's an
faffed
issue.
around in a good way.
I'm not saying that's an issue, but
We
that's
took our
just
time.
if I'm going for a burger. Normally, I'm not looking for a sit down.
So you don't want to sit down
situation.
and talk to your mates and say
No,
how things
there's-
going and
There's nothing to do with it.
yes, it is. You don't want to sit down and have a conversation before your meal comes
So
out.
would you like? Do you like a drive-through?
Nah, not really a drive-through guy. Wild
unless
Pastures
it's,
doesn't
unless
have
it's McDonald's breakfast.
drive-through.
I've got that over ever since that card, man. I got to thank them. Your friends.
And
You like Panda Express and McDonald's.
the
breakfast.
biggest things are the
Where's this,
sauces
George?
and
The truth comes
Which
out.
sauces specifically? The
Yeah,
tomato
you'd be like-
sauce,
you'd
the
be-
tomato sauce.
The sauce that makes a puddle under the burger?
I don't like ketchup.
Yeah.
So that one,
You
most
mean-
of all, and they serve truff.
Geordie, this
Hot
is
sauce.
the Coffee Club
Truff hot
podcast.
sauce
It's
is
called
big.
tomato sauce, buddy.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not
right.
called
tomato
ketchup.
sauce.
It's tomato sauce.
I apologize.
Yeah,
to
but,
all our
um,
loyal Down Under listeners.
So the sauce is a
Ketchup.
big factor.
Fuck tomato sauce.
No, you did it
again. Homemade tomato
No, he
sauce,
lost
right?
it.
Because I don't like. What is it? What are Heinz?
No,
Yeah.
their
Heinz
brand.
ketchup.
No, their brand is. I've
What-
never seen their brand before. No, I'm not kidding about this. Whatever brand of tomato sauce they have is not. I don't think it's one that you just go buy at the grocery store.
No, it's not. It's not.
I think it is actually a premium brand.
It's a premium brand, but I don't know. You
We got to go
it's
take
still-
a
it's
picture of
still
it so we
tomato
can
sauce.
confirm this. But it's not a brand that I see at the
It's still tomato sauce, but like it's
And a little bit more convenient.
so you like the convenience and the sauces of Wild Pastures that takes the win over Seaburger. But if you were saying
I enjoyed my burger. The last time I went to Seaburger, I didn't enjoy it, my actual burger as much as
what
I do it.
burger did you order at Seaburger?
I think just like the plain double
Hey.
A, I think.
Which is what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There's a lot of good
I would
options,
love
actually. Big
love for you
free
to
burger.
give it another chance.
I would. I didn't come last night because I hate it. I didn't come, 'cause, as you know.
No,
I was
I know.
watching Chris
I know,
Hoare.
I know.
I was watching Chris Hoare perform.
He's watching my brother perform at the Boulder Theatre,
It's
which
actually
I thought it-
uncanny, Morg.
I thought it was Red Rocks.
Why
Look
didn't
at
we
this
get an
guy.
invite?
Yeah, why didn't you invite us, Geordie?
I told you
from
months ago.
Chris.
Look at him. Look at Chris Hoare
Chris gave us free
play the
tickets.
guitar.
Wow, that is crazy.
He does look
It's
like Chris a
actually
lot. Yeah.
Uncanny.
When we were
I was going to text
vacation,
Chris and say, nice show.
it was you should text him and send him the video. He fucking
I
love
will.
that. When I was on vacation in Australia, the most random thing, it was like an old little like a seafood restaurant kind of pub area when you go along the Gosford area, and it's just Ziggy Albert's performing there in like a smaller 200 people. Like he's a massive star. I'm like, he's just performing in this little pub. It's crazy seeing artists do little gigs like that, but it was like, damn, there's Ziggy Albert's performing. It's Chris Hoare performing, but
I'm happy we got to the bottom of that argument.
yeah, I just wanted
Which
to know
actually I
if
don't
George.
think we did.
We didn't get to the
I
bottom of
think
it.
we have to have a part
I
two.
think
taste
we
test.
we just have to get a double A Wild Pasture standard and really boil it down to
Morgan,
burger
would you be
only.
open to doing a review?
Love to.
Okay, so what we need to get, we need to get probably. Who do you think would be the best to have? We need a fourth person, which I think is on the team that could be very, very honest about their
Well, we
opinion.
already we obviously not Joe or Robert because we've just confirmed.
What about Dylan? We could do Dylan. We could do Mario.
I don't think
Yard.
we need. No,
Yard, maybe.
I think we can make.
If you have a fourth person, then you have potential for a 2-2.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Split.
got to be us.
Mm.
Same as last time.
Yeah, but we know where he's going to land, and we know where
No,
I'm going to
I'm
land.
gonna be. I'm gonna be honest.
That is actually a good point.
We need
Then-
some.
Morgan's gonna make the deciding.
Well, but Morgan could change. I feel like Morgan's more open-minded than I am. I'm a pretty narrow-minded bloke. When I like something, I'll just say, "Oh, it was a bad day." When it was it's probably I think Morgan would be more open-minded. I'll be very narrow in my decision. I know you'll be narrow in your decision. I think we need.
I
another
don't know.
person.
I could see you after this somehow you swap over to the Wild Pastures side. I think George could convince you. I could see that happening.
Oh, it's actually pretty
Somehow.
good.
Yeah. Well, I really
Well, I've had
underrated this Wild
I've had
Pastures.
Wild Pastures before, but I mean,
just forgot.
Just forgot. Yeah.
You
I mean,
forgot
does
how
it
good it
compare to the McDonald's Minecraft meal? Absolutely not. Nothing will compare to that.
Of course.
Nothing will
Alright.
compare to that. But
Morgan,
I'm
are you
glad
gonna
we
be
had
late?
the.
Are you gonna be late for your massage?
I got a text. He's 15 minutes behind.
Alright.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I got a text from Dylan Jacobs and Kai Robinson saying, "Let's get on because we're going to start Fortnite streaming."
Yeah, regardless, I think this is a nice time to wrap up.
Yeah.
A really insightful
Trying
podcast.
to
If
get
you
it.
made it, through those last 20 minutes, then you're a real one.
It was a treat.
Kudos to you
It was a
because
treat.
I would love to hear how that was to listen to. Just talking about a couple local burger spots that are of no relevance. But yeah, if you ever come to Boulder, try them out and tell
Yep.
us yourselves what you think.
And then shout out them to the Coffee Club podcast and hopefully we can get free
We get
burgers.
sponsored.
Yeah.
That'd be huge. That's
would be
the
huge.
ultimate goal. All right. Well, that's it for episode 185 of the Coffee Club podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening once again. And we look forward to seeing you guys all again next week. Bye-bye.